Hey everybody, how is it going today? Well, in this video, I want to go over the recent big price move up in Zomedica. I'm going to give you my opinion on whether I think this move is sustainable or if it's going to start pulling back. And then after that, I have a couple of very nice looking charts that look like they could be poised to move higher this week. So make sure you stick around for that as well. All right, well, if you are new to my channel, I like to find short-term and long-term trading and investing opportunities in typically lower-priced stocks. I like to find undervalued stocks with high growth potential and talk about all other things finance-related as well. If that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing so you don't miss any future trading or investing ideas. But please remember, I am not a financial advisor, so please do all of your own research before investing in any of these stocks. All right, well, let's get into the charts. This is the daily chart for Zomedica, and as we can see, it had a massive update today on huge volume. It's up about 92% at the moment. I think the trading day is just about over, but just a massive, massive day. If any of you guys got into this stock, congratulations. I am guessing, this is just a guess because it is way extended, but I am guessing the way this trend looks, it wouldn't surprise me one bit that we have at least one more big up day. You know, I could be wrong because this thing is way extended, but the way this chart is playing out, I think it might have one more big up day before we get some kind of a pullback. Now, again, that is just a guess, but the way I've been seeing charts move, I wouldn't think that this would be the last big update, especially with how hot this stock and some of these other penny stocks have been. Let's go back down to the 15-minute chart. I don't know if you remember from the previous video when we broke down the intraday chart to show you what this looks like on an intraday basis when it starts to accelerate into this move. But let's go back to that intraday chart so we can show you how that looks in case you didn't see it. All right, well, here is that intraday chart on Zomedica. This is the 15-minute chart, and because we had this huge day today, it's making all of this stuff on the chart look really small. So I'm going to back it up just a little bit so we can go back to what it looked like when we did the video a few days ago. Once we had that big first move up and it started to make this rounding bottom, I was saying the next thing you want to look for in these charts is a move back up and a hold of this white line. It did break it slightly here, but it got right back above it, so I consider that still a hold. And once it starts holding that 8-period exponential moving average, there is a very good possibility that you are going to get that price explosion up, you know, just like it did here. Started to hold that moving average, and you got it. But once you have an extended move, it's very common to get this pullback. But all you got to do is lay in wait for this pattern to start to carve out a bottom, and then once it blasts above that 8-period exponential moving average and starts to hold, this is important, you have to wait for that support to hold. You can't just jump in if it pops right above that average and you know, try to jump the gun on it. You got to wait for it to prove that it is support. And once it starts to hold that moving average, you can jump in anytime here and see where it goes. There's no guarantee you're going to get that explosion, but this is the first part of that next move. So this move doesn't happen until this happens first, unless there's like some kind of overnight news where it just goes from like this to like a huge gap up. If it's like, you know, when they like have a buyout candidate or something like that, or, you know, they get FDA approval like overnight, sometimes it'll make a stock that isn't even starting to go up yet just gap up big. But usually, you know, smart money gets word of that news, and then you'll start to see this anyway. So when you see a stock go from sideways to immediately up, that's very rare because, like I said, you know, people in the know get the information, but those are the clues that they leave behind when something potentially big is going to come. Now, like I said, there is no guarantee for anything, but that is how you put the odds in your favor when you just try to trade these kind of setups. And if we move forward again, we can see that it had that big explosion. So as far as this part of the trend goes, let me zoom in just a little bit here. It was definitely holding the lows on the day. Didn't have enough of a pullback to make a triangle consolidation, so it's tough to say what that next move is going to be. I think it's probably going to be breaking out again, but you never know. We could get another pullback and another rounding bottom before another move up. We're just going to see how this move up gets digested in the next couple of days or so. But if I had to guess, I think we're probably going to get another update tomorrow. But let's get into a couple other charts that I want to show you that are starting to make the beginning stages of one of these moves. So you guys can put these stocks on your watch list as well. All right, well, the next one I want to show you is RWLK Robotics, ticker symbol RWLK. I looked into this company a while ago, and I believe that they make solutions for quadriplegics, medical devices to help them with their lifestyle. So it's kind of a feel-good company. If I get that wrong, don't hold it against me. It's been a while. I'm trying to go off the top of my head, and I didn't check into it before I started the video. But by the way, if you do like this content, where I try to show you how to trade some of these lower price stocks. I've been trading lower price stocks for about 20 years. My disclaimer is I don't hold a lot of these lower price stocks for the long term. I just like to swing trade these moves up when they're exhibiting signs that they could be exploding higher. Most of my long-term holds are in bigger companies. I just find that those are just a little bit more stable. I'd like to take the profits out of these lower price trades and put it into my long-term investments. But if you do like this content, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I like to show trading opportunities at least a few times a week. I like to bring you guys nice-looking charts. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you hit the subscribe button. But getting back to this chart, we can see that RWLK Robotics is starting to make a rounded bottom right here. It's had a pretty relatively flat sideways move. Did have this big gap down and did have this big spike up in 2019. But for the most part, I would say it's a pretty decent size consolidation. And I like to see consolidations in these lower price stocks before they start moving higher. But if I zoom in a little bit here, we can see that it is starting to come out the other side of this rounding bottom. It has jumped above all those major moving averages, and they're all starting to turn up. Plus, you can see that these lows are starting to rise as well. So this stock is just starting to pick up momentum. And it looks like it is poised to break above this resistance area right around $1.80 a share. So I think this thing is right on the cusp of breaking out if it can get another big move up. But if we look down here on the volume bars, we can see that it has been under accumulation big time. When you see these green big spikes in the volume, that means it's under accumulation. And I would like to say that it's being done pretty quietly. I mean, this is a pretty decent move up from 50 cents all the way up to $1.75 area. So that isn't exactly super quiet, but nonetheless, there's been a ton of accumulation in this stock, and this is another clue that I like to look for before a stock breaks out big time to the upside. You want to see some big players getting involved in the stock, and that's why when it takes off, it usually has a bigger move up because it is being supported by some bigger investors. But eventually, in these lower price stocks, they like to feed that stock to the retail investors like us. So that's why I just like to swing trade these stocks when they have that big move up. I like to be selling just like most of those big boys usually do. But anyway, RWLK definitely looks like it is poised to break out. So this is one that's definitely worth putting on our watch list for this week. But let's get into the last one. All right, the last one I want to show you that could be taking off is Remark Media Incorporated, ticker symbol MARK. This one has started to round up out of this rounded bottom, and it is above all these moving averages, and the trend looks like it is starting to accelerate. Now, how do you know a trend is starting to accelerate? If you look at a lot of trends, you start flipping through charts, you'll notice when a stock starts trending one way or the other, it'll usually be kind of a weak trend. But when it comes out of a rounding bottom, it'll start a weak trend where it makes it into a new high and then kind of pulls back into the trend, makes it to a new high, pulls back into the trend. Now, when you can tell that the pattern has a good chance of accelerating to upside or the downside, it depends on which way that trend is going. In this case, it's trending to the upside. Is when it makes a new high, like it does right here, and then it comes down and touches the old high. So instead of breaking back into the trend, it finds support at that previous high. So that previous high that was resistance becomes support, and then it starts to move higher. When it gets above this 8-period exponential moving average, after finding support from the other wave up, you can tell that there's a pretty good chance the trend is going to start to accelerate to the upside. If you start flipping through charts, you're going to notice that. And actually, if we go back to Zomedica, maybe I'll go back to Zomedica before I end this video, and I'll show you where that one started to make it. But this one looks like it is starting to accelerate to the upside. So I'm thinking this has a very good chance of having a big week this week. How we will know if this price fails, if it breaks this support area right here. So your stop loss is going to be about this big, but your potential gain is theoretically infinite, but you have a much bigger upside from this point than you do on the downside. So that is what you want to do, is you want to just get these trades in your favor, because nobody knows if these trades are going to work beforehand. But if you are taking trades where your potential upside is 2 to 3 times the amount of your downside, over time, that's going to carry your account into profitability because you're putting the odds of success in your favor. Let's go back to Zomedica real quick before I close the video, and I'll show you what I was talking about on that trend. All right, well, going back to Zomedica, let me back out of this a couple of days because it happened right down here. I want you guys to be able to see it a little bit better. Okay, I guess that's probably far enough. But we can see it started this creeping trend. Went to a new high, pulled back. Went to a new high, pulled back into it. Didn't find support at the top. Pulled back into it. Made it to a new high. Then it found support at that last resistance area and started the acceleration up. So that is how you can tell that there is a very good probability. Like I said, there's no guarantees, but that shows you that there is a good probability that the trend is going to accelerate. And you want to be in those trends right before that they accelerate, because that's when you get those huge gains in just a couple of days or so. But that is exactly what you want to look for in these lower price stocks. Like I said before, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I try to show you at least a few of these every single week before they potentially take off. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on it. But that is what it looks like on Zomedica. All right, everybody, that's all I have for this one, so I'm going to end it right there. But if you have any questions or comments about any of these stocks or any of these chart patterns, please leave them down there in the comments section. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end. And until next time, take care, everybody.